All right. Welcome, everybody, to the third episode of the Analytics Above Assumptions podcast. I'm Eric, I'll be your host. Let's get right into it. So, quick note here today's episode is going to be very short. If you remember, I had to delay last week's podcast to Wednesday, and I'm going on a trip tomorrow. And I wanted to make sure I had an episode ready for Sunday, so I'm actually recording on Friday. So, not a ton of new news to go over, but let's just get right into it. So, for our table of contents, we have the analytics minute. I'm going to explain the stats to you guys, and then after that, I'm gonna have a spotlight player, and that'll pretty much be it. So let's just. So the stat I'm going to explain is launch angle sweet spot percentage. So launch angle sweet spot percentage is a hitting stat, and launch angle is the angle that the ball leaves the bat. So a 0 degrees launch angle is a perfect line drive parallel to the ground. 90 degrees is a pop fly directly up, and negative 90 degrees is a ball hit directly into the ground. So basically like right on the plate almost. And the sweet spot, so the launch angle sweet spot is a specific range of launch angles that is deemed the sweet spot where hits are most likely to happen. So basically the launch angle sweet spot is where historically balls hit in that range are result in the best batting average and slugging percentages historically. And the sweet spot is from 8 degrees to 32 degrees. And it's basically the launch angle sweet spot percentage just shows what percent of the balls you hit are within that specific sweet spot that is most likely to result in a hit. So it's another predictive stat, and if a player has a good launch angle sweet spot percentage, they're much more likely to be a very good hitter. Whether they're performing well right now or not, either way, they're most likely to be a good hitter if they have a good launch angle sweet spot percentage. While on the other end, if a player has a poor launch angle sweet spot percentage, then they're more likely to be a poor hitter, regardless of how they're performing right now. So it's a really important, and by some, it's regarded as the most important stat in predicting or just seeing how good a player truly is. It's not the end all be all, but it's definitely one of the most important stats in determining how good a player is. Okay, so what I want to talk about actually is Jordan Walker. So he's been affected very heavily by launch angle sweet spot in his career, but Jordan Walker was one of the most heavily touted prospects in the league, ranking within the top 5 of MLB's best prospects. But entering 2026, he was widely viewed as a bust, a complete bust, nothing more than a failed prospect. But so far in 2026, Jordan Walker has been amazing. He was selected to be an All-Star, and he's even participating in the Home Run Derby. So he's basically become this player that many scouts thought he could become. So what changed? Well, you can read my article and find out. If you're on YouTube, you can find it on my Substack. Link will be in the description. Go check it out. And if you're on Substack, you're already there. So just go on my page and check it out. Okay, let's move on to the spotlight player. But before that, I want to talk about PitchCoachAI. So PitchCoachAI is a website that was actually founded by a friend of mine. And PitchCoachAI is a really helpful tool you can use to improve your public speaking. All you need to do is record yourself speaking, and it'll basically automatically give you personalized feedback on how to improve. I used to prepare for this podcast, and it helped me so much. It's completely free, but there is an option to upgrade to Pro, and it's not that expensive. So if I were you, I would definitely go to PitchCoachAI.com and secure yourself a spot right now, because the first 100 members will get 50% off of Pro. They launched recently, so you still have time. The link will be in the description, or just go to PitchCoachAI.com. That's PitchCoachAI.com. So go help my friend out. Okay. Moving on to the spotlight player. We're already almost done here. Jung-Hoo Lee. So, Jung-Hoo Lee, he came over from the KBO, I believe after the 2023 season, and he was one of the most hyped up Korean prospects of all time, I think. He signed a 6-year, $113 million contract. That's $18.8 million AAV per season. And just to put it into perspective, that is insane. Because with no major league experience, that's very risky. The only player that got more than him that I can think of off the top of my head right now is Yoshinobu Yamamoto when he signed that 12-year, $325 million contract. Regardless, Jung-Hoo Lee's contract is definitely very, very big. Honestly, insane to just think about how a player with no major league experience at all can get such a large contract, but he did it. And he had huge expectations because in the KBO, he was one of, if not the best player in the league. In 2022, he had a batting average over 340. He had an amazing on-base percentage, amazing slugging percentage. He won the MVP pretty easily. So he definitely had huge expectations. His nickname was also the grandson of the wind because his father, Jung Bum Lee, was the son of the wind. So he was one of the best players in the MLB, and he was also comparable. His KBO career was comparable to Ichiro Suzuki in the MLB in the sense that they were both very, very advanced contact hitters. But fortunately, he didn't live up to expectations right off the bat. In his debut season, 2024, he didn't do horribly, but he got injured and he only played 37 games. In those 37 games, he had an 85 OPS plus, a 641 OPS, 262 batting average, and only 2 home runs. So he definitely did pretty bad. Not super like DFA level bad, but it's pretty bad, especially considering his contract. And then in 2025, he got to play a whole season, but he only racked up 1.7 WAR in 150 games, and he had a 735 OPS with a 266 batting average, and that's 110 OPS plus, which is 10% above league average. However, considering his contract, his $18.8 million AAV, and his expectations, that was certainly not good enough. He also only had 8 home runs. However, in 2026 so far, he has racked up 1 WAR in 85 games and has a 309 batting average with a 782 OPS, which is good for a 120 OPS plus, 20% better than league average. That's pretty good. He also has 5 home runs, so he's definitely looking better than both his years before. And I was pushing very hard for him to be an all-star. Fortunately, he didn't get there, but he's still really on a good track this season. I hope he'll finish somewhere in like the 4-5-ish WAR range. That would be the best he's gotten in his MLB career. However, this start it's very it's very interesting because last year and the year before his advanced stats weren't the best, and this year it's most of the same. Very little has changed from last year in terms of his Savant page, but that doesn't mean that he isn't going to be able to sustain this. Because historically, contact hitters, their Savant pages are not usually the brightest. So this just means that Jung-Hoo Lee isn't exactly the power type guy who lights up their Savant page. He's more of the contact guy who will be reliable. And especially on such a bad Giants team, he's been one of, if not the only good player. Logan Webb's been bad. Willie Adames has been bad. Rafael Devers has been just, his attitude, his play, it's just been insufferable. So this Giants team will definitely be selling, and he could be a trade candidate as he might be one of the only players that other teams might actually want to get, considering his contract isn't as big as the other Giants players, and he's also probably one of the best Giants players right now performing. And he also isn't a clubhouse cancer, so he'll likely be one of the hottest commodities on the trade market if the Giants make him available. I've seen some rumors, the Yankees maybe, the Padres, some other teams as well. So I just wanted to really put a spotlight on Jung-Hoo Lee. I know he's an all-star, but in my eyes, he has had one of the quietest breakout seasons, honestly. I would consider a breakout season. So just keep watching Jung-Hoo Lee. It'll be very interesting to see. Okay, so this week, this coming week, we have a few things coming up. We have the Home Run Derby. The full field is decided. 8 players: Ben Rice, Jack Caglianone, Kyle Schwarber, Bryce Harper, Munetaka Murakami, Wilson Contreras, Junior Caminero, and um, I'm blanking right now. And Jordan Walker. Sorry about that. So yeah, Jordan Walker is the last home run derby participant. So it's going to be a very interesting home run derby. It's one of the best fields I think we've had in a while. I think it's definitely better than last year. Tons of lefties, 5 lefties and 3 righties. So that right field area is going to get a lot of balls. We also have the MLB draft coming tomorrow. Rock Chalowski, Von Lackey, or Grady Emerson are likely to be the number 1 picks, one of them. I'm betting on Von Lackey, but could be any of the other two. We also have the Futures game on the 12th, and then the All-Star game and the Red Carpet Show on the 14th. Red Carpet Show will be at 2 p.m. Eastern Time at the Independence Mall. I'll be there. And the All-Star game will be at 8 p.m. Eastern Time at Citizens Bank Park. That'll be exciting. Also, some more news. It is seeming like Ben Rice will be the starting first baseman now that Nick Kurtz is injured, and also Shohei Ohtani won't be participating in the All-Star game either. So Kyle Schwarber will likely be the starting DH. So that is about it for today's episode. Very, very short. So just subscribe to my YouTube and my Substack. Go check out my Substack if you're on YouTube. Go check out my YouTube if you're on Substack. Read my article. Stay tuned for future podcasts, and I will see you in a week.